It's Leo, and as a dentist, I have thought a lot about ego. In a field where everybody is a high achiever, it's not rare to find someone who has a really big ego. And what I mean by ego is the feeling that you are better than everyone else. You're more important, you're the greatest there ever was. So is this a good feeling to have, or is it a bad one? That's the question we're trying to answer today. So after grabbing a cup of coffee, I'm taking to the streets to ask people what they think of people who have a big ego. I'm very curious to see what kind of answers we're gonna get. So let's get right into it.
Evan,
very nice to meet you. So we're asking everybody, what does it mean when we say that somebody has a big ego?
a big ego? I guess the first thing that comes to my mind is they're just very full of themselves, very self-entitled.
To have a big ego is to be overly confident and just arrogant to the people around you.
They think that they're better than somebody else for a certain feature they have or clothing or things that they have. I don't know.
A big ego to me is somebody who at times feel that they're maybe bigger than the rest of the people that they work with.
I would say maybe someone who's only aware of themselves. Like there's no one else around them. It's just them in their own world.
They're the center of attention.
They're only consumed by their own thoughts. That's it.
Normally when someone has a big ego, they're just basically a narcissist. They only think about themselves and they put themselves before others.
Oh, wow. A big ego. I think as far as an ego goes, kind of like what they say, alter ego, right? You have another persona that you put on that's bigger than life and bigger than yourself.
I think a big ego is just like, it's almost the negative side of confidence.
Do you think people are more likely to have a big ego when they're successful or when they're not successful?
I think the more successful, the larger the ego comes with some people, you know.
I feel like it depends more or less on your personality. I feel like success could either change you or it could leave you how you are. So, I mean, I've seen people who have money and who have nothing that are both very arrogant and both very humble. So I was always raised to be a very humble person, so...
Regardless of the success.
Exactly. Regardless of any kind of, success or title that you have, you should always be a decent human being. Just be kind to others.
Personally, probably less successful. It's usually people who are successful who have the awareness to kind of like keep other people in mind and kind of navigate through life in like social circles that way and get up there.
They know how to tone themselves down?
They know how to tone themselves down, for sure. It's always people with big egos. Yeah, sure, they can probably succeed, but it all comes crashing down at some point.
I feel like you gotta have like an even... I feel like you have to just be able to work with people in order to be successful.
People acquire a different frame of mind when they have money in their pocket or a lot of money in their bank accounts. They tend to think they're above other people. They're less fortunate than them.
Sometimes it's more successful people.
They get more successful when they believe they're better than everyone else.
No.
They don't. But they feel that.
But it's the more successful people that kind of feel like they're better than everybody else.
Absolutely. And would you personally consider having an ego a good thing or a bad thing?
Having an ego, for me personally, maybe like a negative thing. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. I think it's something that everyone will have at some point, and they just have to work on it.
I feel like you have to have some type of ego for yourself in order to better yourself and move forward and push yourself and have some sort of drive or determination. But there can be a point where it gets too far. It gets to be too much. And you can get to that point where you do think you're better than everybody else because of the success you made and because of all the fame or the title that you have.
I think it's a good thing to have an ego, but I think it's a bad thing to feel like you're better than anybody else around you.
Depends on the setting. Goes back to the narcissist thing. If you're trying to get what you want, sometime using that ego, will get you places.
As a cover.
Exactly.
But never to internalize it, is what you're saying?
You should not do that. That's not good for the soul.
A big ego, man, you gotta let that go. Cause at one point I had it, and you just gotta let it go, man.
Why?
Period.
Why? What happened?
Bad thing.
So you don't like it?
At all.
How about yourself?
Same thing. He says you got too big of an ego for yourself and you don't establish it or hold it to yourself and bless it upon other people. I don't know. I really don't know what to say about it.
And when you look at a successful person who has a big ego, do you feel like the ego is what led to their success? or the ego is a symptom of their success?
Symptom, I think. Things like hard work, drive, dedication is what leads to success.
I would say an ego is a symptom of something hereditary that however they were raised in a way.
I would like to say probably a symptom.
A symptom
of success.
Yeah, so
those are really interesting questions. I mean,
thank you,
that's
man.
not something that you
had good answers.
You had great answers.
Well,
yeah.
What's it like involve?
Yeah, so I'm a foreign dentist.
Okay.
All right, I'm a dentist, and in my line of work, a lot of people, after becoming successful, after putting in years of studying and putting a lot of effort, help from parents, help from family, support from spouses and siblings, everyone pitches in to pay their, tuition fees and everything.
Yeah.
Once they make it, they start to feel like they're a little more important than everyone else. And I just wanted to hear everyone else's opinion. Like, how do other people feel about that? I've been
that was crazy.
Ego is definitely the disease.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much for sharing this. This was very insightful. We're trying to send the message that no matter how successful you get in life, what got you there was not the ego.
Not the ego. I agree.
And there you have it. That's what people had to say about having a big ego. At the end of the day, it is a choice. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you in my next video.